Hi guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host Indira, and today I'm rejoined by Natasha Phillips. We previously spoke with Natasha about a year ago, so if you haven't already, feel free to check that episode out. Natasha recently finished first Brit at the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, and she's someone who's done a lot of half marathons for her age. In the past year, she's also competed at a World Cross Country Championships and taken some top 3 positions at national championships too. She's got a coach, had an injury, and completed her first year of uni. So let's see how it's been for Natasha, what she's learned, what she's changed, and what she's currently doing. Okay, as always, before we get into the episode, please be sure to give a rating if you've been enjoying the show. Helps give credibility to the podcast so I can keep bringing you guys the guests you want to hear from. All right, let's do this. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, I can. Actually, it's great you're on an iPhone. They actually have got really good audio as well.
Yeah, and I saw the thing about AirPods as well, so I do not have any AirPods in or anything, just my phone.
Awesome. How are you? And thanks for being able to reschedule things around as well. That's really great.
Oh yeah, I'm tired, but yeah, I'm fine, which is good. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot on. I guess, yeah, if you're okay with everything, obviously we've like been here, done it before. We may as well just sort of start and kind of just keep things fresh, really, if you're good with
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Podcast starting. Hi, Natasha. Welcome back to the podcast. And how are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me back on. And yeah, just a bit tired, but yeah, happy the day is finally over.
Sometimes it's just about, getting through each day, but no, it's great to have you back on. And, it sounds like a lot has happened in your life and you've got a lot going on. So definitely a lot of things to discuss. And so are you currently training or on a training break, or what's your kind of current situation?
Currently training. Yeah, because just got a few road races coming up. So yeah, and then the cross country season afterwards as well. So yeah, just training. So yeah, it's good to get like stuck back into things again because I had a wee bit of an injury for the past couple of weeks. So I wasn't running, but I'm back running again now, which is really nice. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's quite nice actually after an injury. You kind of re-find that love again and appreciation for being able to run. And can you kind of disclose any of the road
Yeah.
races that you're looking to do?
I've got the hopefully the Great Scottish Run next Sunday. Fingers crossed everything still is fine for them. And then a few weeks after that, the end of October, hopefully I've got the Valencia Half Marathon. Um, and then I think it will be maybe like a cross country, and then I think I might have like a 10K sometime in December. So I think that's what I'm the rest of the year is looking like.
Nice. No, that sounds really exciting. And how far is the Great Scottish Run?
It's a half marathon.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a long one, but I think it's my favorite distance to race. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, it's interesting you say that. What do you think draws you to the half then?
I just think I don't know. You just find a really good rhythm when you're running. It's just sometimes and you can kind of find it with a 10K, but I just feel like you've got that bit more time in a half marathon to kind of like get a good pace going and yeah, I think you get into a really good rhythm and especially if you're around quite a lot of people as well. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. I know a lot of people will not think the same because it is quite long, but not as long as a marathon and yeah, just slightly longer than a 10K.
Yeah, slightly, almost double.
Yeah,
But
double, yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, you've done some, incredible runs over the years, kind of across the half marathon. I mean, recently you ran the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, and you're the first Brit overall, 72:31. I actually looked that up. That's 3:22 per kilometer, 16:51 through the 5K, 33:43 through the 10K. I mean, that's some really quick stuff. Do you want to talk us through that particular race?
Yeah, that race, the weather conditions were absolutely horrible. Like there was like a huge like gale or something that had hit Antrim, and because it was on a coast, it was just even worse. So there was literally like 33 kilometer an hour headwinds, like torrential rain. It was freezing. It was rainy, like the roads were wet. So everybody was just like, oh my gosh, because I was really hoping to get a PB on that course. But the minute the weather hit, I was like, I just have to get it finished. So I think I was still pleased with my time because I think I looked at a lot of the elite runners that won it and they were about like 2 to 3 minutes off their PB and I was only just over a minute off mine. So I was quite chuffed with that. So hopefully when I do one in good weather, I hopefully I will be able to get a good PB. But yeah, it was still enjoyable and it was great running for Scotland again. But yeah, the weather was certainly not great at all.
Gosh, yeah, no, sometimes the weather can just absolutely ruin what could be a perfect run, but it definitely sounds like there's more in the tank and you've got a few opportunities coming up as well. So that's definitely really exciting. And I guess with kind of the weather situation, what goes through your mind then? How do you sort of cope with, the situation where you're feeling ready, you want a PB, and then, an external factor like the weather gets in the way, mentally and physically, how do you kind of adapt to accommodate that?
I think well physically I didn't do like a big warm up or anything because it was that cold. So yeah, I just like, tried to keep as many layers on for as long as I could, like kept dry at the start line, had like these like poncho things. So yeah, we had to we were all wearing these disposable ponchos at the start and it was literally like it started at 9:30 at like 28 minutes past 9, people still had their ponchos on. We're like, oh we have to take them off now. So yeah, and then mentally I think you just have to accept that you're not going to get a PB, but just go in with the mentality of like you're just going to race other people. So that's what I did. I just wanted to like beat as many people as I could. Because when you're in the race, everybody's battling the same conditions. So I suppose it is a fair like playing field in the race, regardless of like the time and stuff. So I think it was just good fun, like racing other people and yeah, just being competitive.
Yeah, no, that definitely, was a great run from yourself and definitely something to be proud of. And so let's, obviously you've been on the podcast before. If you haven't already checked the episode out, do go back and check it out. But for people who maybe are new to the podcast or don't know you yet, can you sort of give a kind of quick version as to how you got into running, what keeps you running, and yeah, kind of a bit about yourself as an athlete?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I originally was a competitive swimmer from like when I was like 6 or 7 up until really COVID. I joined my running club maybe just before COVID hit. And when we were doing like cross countries and stuff, just because I really enjoyed doing cross country at school. So I thought I'll join the running club. I never took it seriously. Like I just kind of went for like the team travel and it'd been really fun. I was actually coming like 40th and everything, like and I was wearing these like crappy trail shoes, like I just didn't. And then during COVID, because the pools were shut, I thought, well, I might as well run to keep my fitness up because I couldn't swim because the pools were closed. Um, and I ended up just really enjoying it. But I remember finding it really hard, like the first 5Ks I would do, like the challenges. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is like the hardest thing I've ever done. Um, and yeah, I kept like improving on my times, and then I think there was a virtual challenge that I did through Scottish Athletics. I got invited to like a cross country when the COVID restrictions lifted. And I think I did quite well. I surprised myself, and then I just continued with like that kind of cross country season. And I was doing like park runs and stuff, and then yeah, I just ended up thinking, yeah, I'm gonna switch to running because I originally was I did triathlon like after swimming. But then I think as my running kind of took priority, I just focused more on running. But triathlon's something that I'm definitely gonna come back to in the future. But for now, it was mostly running based.
Yeah, no, definitely. Very, very nice way in. And I think COVID definitely did open the door for a lot of people to kind of do a bit of a sports switch, especially from backgrounds like swimming. I mean, a lot of the top runners now do come from a swimming background. And I know last time we spoke, cross trainings comprise quite a key component of your kind of weekly training routine. Is that still the case?
Yeah, definitely. I do. Yeah, I do a lot of swimming and biking. Just because it just takes a load off my legs. Like I feel like if when I increase my mileage, I just don't really recover well between runs. But if I can swim and bike, it just means that I can still do like the same amount of like training, but it's just not got like the impact on my legs and things like that. And I think because I have come from like a swimming background, it's just it's quite easy for me to just go to the pool and like do like a session. So yeah, it's quite nice to change up my training as well. So I'm not constantly like going for like double runs every day. I couldn't do that. So yeah, I think it is nice to change up my training as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's horses for courses with that one, and cross training definitely can have, huge benefits. And for some people, it does seem to sort of have maybe even more effect than running more miles. And so let's kind of start things off with some just kind of fun questions, maybe, a bit about yourself. So first up, highlight from this week.
Probably do my first run back outside for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I did that on Tuesday, which was really nice. Even though it was really cold and everything, I really loved it. I forgot how much I missed, like running outside and not on a treadmill. So yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and it was any reason in particular for the treadmill running? Was that kind of to do with injury or?
Yeah, because it was like a tendon thing, it was just to keep it kind of flat for a week, just doing like really flat like running, and I was supposed controlled as well, just in case I was like slip or like trip over pavement or something, so or somebody's dog like gets in. So yeah, just to control a bit more. But yeah, on Tuesday I managed to get outside, which was lovely.
No, that's really great. First run back always hits different. And I think what you say about dogs is so true. One of those things darts out at you, you've got to come to a sudden standstill. It's like injury risk left, right, and center. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know it's so annoying. It's just like, there's a park near my house that I run around, and it literally every single dog is off their lead, and I had to I literally almost shouted at women. No, I did actually shout at women. I was like, "Can you get your dog on the lead?" Um, it was just ridiculous. I swear, and they all like chase after you and everything. So like your pace, like you're meant to do an easy run, and then it suddenly turned into like a tempo effort because there was like this tiny dog like chasing you.
Yeah, I don't know which one's worse, to be honest. The tiny dogs are like trip hazards, and the big dogs are like maul you on the floor and eat you kind of
Yeah,
hazards.
yeah.
So, yeah, I know. Near where I used to live, actually, there was a particularly aggressive dog, and I actually came to learn its name. And I remember the owners just staring at disbelief at me when I was telling the dog. I was like, "Minty, sit, sit, Minty." It's like, yeah, I know your dog. I know your dog at this point. But yeah, and so also we've got favorite running shoe.
I think it would have to be the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. I love that one. Just so good for racing and like tempo runs and everything. Yeah, it's my go-to shoe.
Yeah, have heard good stuff about that. And are you someone who wears carbon then for sort of tempo runs and sessions?
Yeah, yeah. I think I probably wear them too often, but that's okay. I don't really. I think if I ran more, I'd obviously incorporate more shoes. But because I don't really run like a huge amount, like a good like 2 to 3 of my runs a week are in carbon shoes. So I do my long run in them as well. But I feel like it helps me recover after my long run if I do them in carbon shoes. I don't know if like people would like say that that's okay or anything, but I do my long running carbon shoes. But I feel like you do get like a slight recovery benefit afterwards because you've not you just have that extra like bounce kind of.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard a lot of people say that actually. And yeah, I think the research is kind of split. I mean, I have heard some stuff about it being potentially linked to stress fractures possibly or something like that, but that might have just been in younger athletes. But yeah, it's definitely an exciting time with kind of shoe technology.
Yeah.
And have you got a favorite post-run meal? I know a lot of people are a fan of your cooking and stuff that you share on social media.
It kind of changes all the time. And I've got so many that I have, but I really love like sourdough bread with cottage cheese and smoked salmon and cucumber. Yeah, that's really good. I had that the other day after my run. I was like, that's really good. Or a good bowl of if it's in the morning, like overnight oats or just a big bowl of porridge or something. Yeah, always good.
Yeah, classics right there. And also, are you a morning or evening kind of run kind of person?
Oh, morning, definitely. You never ever see me running in the evening time. I absolutely hate it. I hate running in the afternoon. Oh yeah, it's just that I just feel like when it gets later on, it's like my stomach hurts. I'm tired. Like there would be no way that I could run in the afternoon. It's always in the morning or very early afternoon. Like anything after 2 p.m. It's like, oh, don't really want to go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you see Natasha running after 2 p.m., guys, do check that she's okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and if you have to pick an animal which best represents you, what would you choose and why?
Probably a capybara because I'd like to think that they're really chill, and I try to emulate that in my life. Is just be really chill and just kind of go with the flow and everything. And yeah, I love capybaras, and I feel like if I were to be an animal, I'd want to be a capybara.
No, it's lovely. I mean, they're very cute animals. And how's the being chill going for you?
I think it's going quite well, especially now that I'm feeling better. I wasn't chill when I couldn't run. I was like, this is a disaster. I was like, oh no, I can't cope with this. Like I miss it too much and everything. But no, yeah, I'm definitely a lot more chill now. So that's good.
Yeah, it's funny how much a kind of a single injury or something can cause a whole kind of catastrophe in your mind and a spiral. And yeah, it's not a pleasant place to be. And so, kind of bring everyone up to speed. So, changes since the last episode. You've had some notable performances over the year: third at Intercounties, under 20, you're 30th at the under 20 World Cross Country Championships. You've run some quick 5Ks, 10Ks, obviously your half marathon, second at the England under 25,000 champs. You took a course record in April for the fast and flat. I think that one has just been broken, but
Yeah.
you did set it at the time. You've also got a coach and had an injury, and you are second year at uni. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Perfect. So let's kind of start with maybe some of your races and then move on to kind of the coaching setup, the injury, and some general reflections. So, first things first, what has been your highlight race?
Um, Definitely the World Cross Country Championships back in March. That was amazing just to be there and like experience like a World Championship event. I think that's definitely been the highlight race. Although it was in a heat wave, so it was meant to be like 10 degrees in Serbia and it was like 28. So it didn't feel like a cross country really. Like it was yeah, it was absolutely boiling. But it was really good fun.
Yeah. And was there anything kind of unexpected that happened to you while you were there, and anything that you kind of learned that maybe you weren't necessarily expecting to?
Um, I think I'm not really sure. I suppose it was definitely a step up from like races that you do here, or even like when I went to the European Championships, just like having it on like a world level instead of just like a European level. Yeah, it was quite overwhelming. And it's quite easy to get influenced by like what other people are doing in the call room, and you see like loads of other people like the Americans, and you see what they're doing, and you're kind of like looking over thinking, oh no, and then and seeing like when people are getting their spikes on, and you're like, should I get my spikes on? But I think it's just focusing on your own performance and like what works best for you, and not trying to copy other people or get intimidated by other teams or anything like that. But yeah, it was an incredible experience, and I did learn a lot from it, which was really good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, cliches are there for a reason. You do you definitely has stood the test of time.
It
And
has, yeah.
on that note, what was the craziest or most bizarre thing you saw someone doing in the cool room then?
It wasn't so much in the call room. I actually went to use the portaloos, which were basically just like a box and then like a hole in the ground, which was not the best. Yeah, I think it was like the worst portal I've ever used in my life. But there was I like you could literally see like all the way down. I remember going to flush the toilet and I just see this like syringe at the bottom. And I'm like, like I'm not really sure if that was just for like saline solution or something, but yeah, that was pretty weird. I remember a couple other people was seeing the same thing, and we were just all a bit dubious as to what that syringe was for. But yeah, bit strange, but nothing you can do.
Yeah, that does seem a bit evidence based for some sort of maybe doping situation, but
Yes, I think so.
yes, moving on then. You mentioned how you kind of learnt a lot. Is there anything in particular that you took away that's kind of influenced you post the event?
I think it was like always to run your own race. Because the way that the race was, I think it was like 3 or 4 laps of the course. I remember like the coaches being like, oh, yeah, like don't go out too fast in the first lap and everything. But like you start and you just get so caught up in like, I'm in a world championship, like, whoa, this is mad. And then I just went off far too fast. And I remember it felt so easy as well because it felt like I wasn't even running that fast. I was looking at the pace on my watch for a second. I was like, oh no, I was like, that's too fast. And because it was so hot, it got to like the third lap or something, and I really started to feel it. I was like, oh no, I was like, this is really hurting now. So I think it is just not being caught up in like the race you're in, and just really like kind of bide your time and not go out too fast like I did. But yeah, everything's a learning curve, so I won't do that again. But it is very easy to get caught up in those kind of races where it's like a big event, and you think like the adrenaline is just yeah, making you run far too fast.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it's a big pack, it's really easy that the pace can kind of feel a lot easier. And you kind of just end up going with it for sure. So yeah, definitely not the first person who's done that, and definitely won't be the last.
No.
And on the flip side, what's been kind of the toughest race for you over this past kind of year?
Um, I think that would probably be a tough one. I think I found races hard. Like I remember the Scottish 5K championships. Like I'm so pleased with my run. Like I don't think it was a bad run, but it was just I remember doing like a university exam that morning because it was on a Friday night, and I just remember being so stressed at that point because I just finished my exams for my first year at uni, and I just remember feeling so drained and everything. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have to race a 5K this evening and everything, and I just remember being so stressed. And I think I've struggled a lot with my iron levels really since then, about like kind of like April to even kind of still now. Like I just noticed that they dropped when I was in the middle of exams, and I was probably really stressed and not really sleeping very well. So um yeah, there were a few races that I just felt a bit rubbish in because I just was anemic, and I had just had like no oxygen to go around. So yeah, there's been a few races that I thought, oh, it's I could have done better, but it's just one of those things, and I've got it sorted out now. So yeah, with me taking my iron pills, and I've been having like venison like 3 times a week now. It's, for like the past few months, it's definitely been helping. So
Yeah, definitely. These things can impact a lot, and it really is kind of underestimated how much kind of exams or even work, but like studying especially can take out of you, especially when you're kind of competing at that level. And iron as well, obviously something that so many female athletes struggle with. But it sounds like you're on a good path with that now. And have you got any sort of additional tips or anything else that you've done or found's been particularly effective for kind of maybe maximizing iron uptake or intake?
I think it's always good to take on an empty stomach if you want like maximum absorption. Not to have it with like tea or coffee because that can stop some of the absorption as well. And not to have it with calcium either because calcium inhibits the iron absorption. So yeah, and also I think not to take it if you've done like a really intense workout or run. Because if you take it right after, then I like after you do that, I've heard that you don't metabolize it as well. So it's just like kind of getting it timing wise that it's not interfering with any of those things.
Yeah, a bit of a nasty one there, I am really. Easy to lose, hard to take in. So
Yeah.
not exactly ideal. Could be a bit kinder. And another kind of interesting race that you've done, of course, is the ASICS Speed Paris 10K. I mean, that looked like quite a cool, exciting event. Do you want to talk us through kind of that one?
Yeah, that was amazing. It was right after the World Cross Country. So I was back for I think maybe like a day and a half, and then I flew out to Paris. I was absolutely exhausted. But it was absolutely incredible, and it was just amazing for ASICS to put on such a huge event like that. And there's loads of like Olympians in the hotel that I was staying at. We were all in the hotel together, so it was just amazing to like have breakfast with people that had like broken world records and everything. It was so cool. But yeah, I remember waking up every single day that I was there with like aching legs after the World Cross Country, and I was like, when is this gonna go away? And it got to the day of the race, and I just remember taking like a nap during the day because I think it was at like 8:30 at night, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm not even sure if I can run a 10K, but I did, so I'm happy that I did it. And it was so cool because there were so many crowds there. Like everyone from Paris had like come out their houses, and because they eat late as well, everybody was in their restaurants and they were like shouting the Beyond. So that really helps motivate me through when I literally did not feel like running fast at that 10K at all. But yeah, it was amazing, and yeah, it was. I can't believe I've been in Paris, with the Olympics and stuff. Just so cool to have been there right before it all kind of kicked off.
Yeah, definitely, of course. Yeah, I imagine they kind of would have maybe started some early preparations and stuff. And do you have a sort of particular memorable moment from that experience?
I think it was amazing. We had a day off on the Sunday, and me and Anna Headley went to the Eiffel Tower. We watched the Eiffel Tower together. And yeah, I remember it was really hot as well. So we were like walking along to the Eiffel Tower in like 28-degree heat. We were like, oh my gosh. And yeah, that was so cool. We had like a wee day of being tourists on the Sunday, which was amazing.
Nice. Well earned after that, long 10K and obviously off the back of the world cross country as well. And on that note, your sponsorship with ASICS, what's that current setup look like for you?
It's been really helpful just with like kit and just support in that kind of way. It's been really good to be able to have like my shoes and just clothing and everything just available for me to use, which is really helpful, especially when I'm a student and um, I'm trying to like budget everything and then pay rent and then like electricity and heating and like food bills. So yeah, it's really good to have that support and just be kind of part of that family as well.
Yeah, definitely. These small things really can add up, and the cost of living isn't low, that's for sure. And in terms of kind of, I guess, kit sponsorship and stuff like that, which is, really, really great. Do you get kind of much choice over the products? Do they sort of like customize anything for you, or, how does that side of things work?
You get a certain amount that's sent to you as like kit drops. So it's like seasonally. So they'll send you out like an autumn season. So that'll have like new clothes that they've just come out with, or if it's like a new pair of shoes, if they've just released new shoes, like they'll send you them out. And there's also a website that you can go on and order what you would like. You've got like a budget of however much money you can see on your account, and you can go and selectively choose what you need. So if it's like a new pair of shoes, or if you needed like new joggers or leggings or tops or sports bras, it's there, and you can pick and place an order. But it's dependent on like what's in stock and like what sizes they have. And sometimes you go on and you're trying to get something and it's like, oh, it's not in stock, or like next available delivery date is like November, and you're like, oh no. But most of the time it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear that you've got that support still coming in, and especially, in the position of being a student. And on that note, do you want to talk us through what you're doing at university at the moment, what that workload's like, and we can sort of talk around how you balance the two?
Yes, I'm doing biological chemistry and drug discovery at the University of Dundee. I'm in second year now. So first year was good. It wasn't too hectic. There were a lot of 3 hour lab sessions on a Tuesday, but yeah, I really enjoyed it last year. So I'm hoping that this year I continue to enjoy it, and I'm hoping that the workload isn't drastically more than last year, but my timetable is quite full. And I did my first 3 hour lab today, so it was really quite easy today. I think they're just easing us in, and then I've got another 2 hour one tomorrow with like lectures and stuff. But I am enjoying it, and it's really interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It does sound like one of those kind of more practical sided or I guess kind of maybe vocational even courses, more kind of options after that. Maybe you'll discover the next, I don't know, wonder drug of some sort. And on your timetable at the moment, how many hours roughly do you have a week?
Oh, it's hard to add up, but probably. Oh, I'm not really sure. They I think they said it like a lecture last week, like how many hours we were during the week, and then how many like additional hours we had to spend on it. But normally there'll be like a lecture like 10 till 12, and then you'll have something like 2 till 4, and then 4 till 5, and then maybe the next day you've got something like 11 till 1, and then maybe like 4 till 5. And then my lab's like 10 to 1, and we'll maybe have like a lecture after that or a lecture before. And yeah, different workshops as well we have to go to, and like tutorials and stuff. So sometimes we're like 11 till 1, and then you've got a lecture, and then you've got a lab or something. So it is quite busy, but not too bad. But it's kind of annoying with the lectures because like you can literally do them at home. Like they record them, and you just think, could we not have just done this online? You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
such a pain having to come in and they're literally just reading off a PowerPoint. And you're like, I could have done this in my own time, and like at like times two speed as well. So yeah, but the labs and like the workshops and tutorials are really important.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, love a bit of times too. In fact, can't go wish it could go faster, but yeah, it's so difficult. You never know which one's going to be valuable and which ones you should be in person for. And I guess, obviously you've had a year of doing uni now. What have you had to change since coming to uni to kind of balance training with uni, if anything at all?
Probably just time managing more. Probably swimming a lot earlier than I used to. I used to just like rock up to the pool at like 9 or something. I would say now it's at like 7. So, and probably some mornings it'll have to be like 6. But yeah, I suppose just doing things either like early in the morning or just trying to fit it around like lectures and labs and stuff. And yeah, just kind of like time managing well, and like spending my evenings like rewatching lectures if I have missed them, or like retaking notes and doing like pre-lab preparation and stuff. But my training's not really changed a huge amount since coming to uni, which has been quite lucky. I managed to keep things quite the same. And like the flat that I'm in just now is still really close to like the pool and the gym, and where my lectures and stuff is. So it's not like I've got loads of time that I'm having to like walk to the pool, which takes like half an hour, or like I have to get on a bike or a bus or something. So I'm lucky that I'm still really close.
Yeah, definitely. Location really is important, and there's a reason that land prices are reflected in that because, yeah, those things do definitely add up over time. And so let's, dive into sort of training. Obviously, you've brought on a coach and potentially changed coaches. Can you sort of talk us through the situation with coaching? Because obviously, previously you were self-coached. So, yeah, can you give us the rundown on that?
Yeah, it was actually after the English 5,000 meter championships, I bumped into somebody that actually had followed me on Instagram for like quite a long time. So it's Vince Wilson. So I think he coaches Samantha Harrison as well. And he was just starting, and I was just saying like I would like to get a coach and everything, and he just said that he would help me out, and he'd be really interested in coaching me. So I said, yeah, that would be fantastic. So Yeah, it's kind of just been from then on. Um, yeah, I've just kind of been in touch with him, kind of like got to grips with like my training and what he can do to kind of help me and stuff. And it was kind of like I was meant to actually like meet up with him and do a session, but I got injured, so that got postponed probably till after the Great Scottish Run, and we'll properly sit down and like plan out, like my training schedule and like do like a proper like build up to like big races and stuff, which is really exciting. Because I've never had a coach before, but I just get a really positive feeling from it, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the future, and it's really good to have somebody there, especially with like uni and everything. It's just good to have somebody that's I don't know, helping you with training and race planning and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think, vibe's always really important, to have that kind of connection with someone, especially in sort of a coach athlete relationship. So that's great that you've, got that positive feeling there. And then definitely it is so nice sometimes to just sort of take some of the thinking out of it. And so far for you, what are some of the things that you've noticed have changed and maybe, the greatest benefit, but also maybe some things that aren't, maybe the down perks of not kind of being able to do your own thing completely?
I mean, like as of right now, I'm not really like on a training plan yet, just with because I had like a couple of weeks off and stuff. But I think so far it's been really good to like, especially before Antrim and stuff, when the weather was really crap. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get a PB, but it was fine because I had like a call with my coach, and he was the one that just said, race it and don't worry about the weather. And it's just really good like afterwards to have somebody being like, oh no, that was good, and like this went well, and just like different pointers how to do like a good warm up, and just stuff like that, that I'm just, because I'm so new to running, I just have kind of no clue about that. So yeah, it's just really good to have somebody's like expertise in that area just to help me. And yeah, it's just nice to have somebody, I don't know, somebody there to tell me, this is good, this is what you need to work on, or focus on this in this race. And or even when I did get my injury, he was just like, it'll all be fine, like don't worry. And it's just really nice to have somebody tell me that, so it's not just all on me to try and like sort things out.
Yeah, definitely. There's certainly that sort of mental component as well that comes from having a coach, kind of the emotional side, really, that's just as important. And yeah, I guess, you say you're sort of a bit more new to running and, being able to give you some useful pointers with stuff like that. What's something or maybe a reflection or observation that he's made to you that's kind of surprised you, or that you thought, oh yeah, I never viewed myself that way or never viewed that as this, or something like that?
Definitely the importance of a really good warm up. Because I was feeling when I was going into races, I would start and it would just take me so long to get into the race, and I'd feel rubbish at the start. And then I was speaking to my coach about it, and he was like, your warm up's just not good enough, and you have to do this and do the strides and everything. And I was like, oh, I was like, I didn't actually realize that. And I was like, it's such a like a basic thing, to do before a race, but if you're not doing it right, it's yeah. So I'm really happy that he was there to tell me how to warm up properly, and how to warm up for like different races, and yeah, all the different drills and everything. That was really beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And what does your kind of pre-race typical warm-up or routine look like at the moment then?
I'm still kind of like trialing stuff out, but it's quite a long like jog, probably between like 40. Well, it depends on the race. But for example, if it was for like a half marathon, it would be maybe 10 minutes of running, where the first 5 minutes would be easy, and then the next 5 minutes I would kind of like build towards my like race pace. And then it would be like dynamic drills like A skips, B skips, C skips, like some activation like that. And then yeah, that would be kind of my warm up, maybe some strides, and then that would be it.
Yeah, nice. A lot of skips in there as well, so that's
Yeah.
always fun. Okay, awesome. And then I guess in general, what does kind of your training week look like at the moment?
So Mondays, I normally swim. in the morning before uni. And then probably later on I would do like a Zwift or something. Tuesday would be my track session. Um, and it would just kind of depend on what races I have coming up. So it could be, like shorter, maybe like 400 stuff if I was doing like 5Ks, or longer, maybe like kilometer reps or 2K reps if I was doing like a 10K or a half marathon. Then Wednesday I would probably bike in the morning, because I just prefer to train in the morning. Get out the way. And I'd probably do a gym session as well, strength and conditioning later on, at some point during the day. Thursday I would go out for like an easy run, which would either be outside or on a treadmill. Because I don't like the treadmill, but sometimes you have to. It's convenient, and it just means if it's like really horrible weather outside and it's windy or something, you could just think, I'm just gonna go on the treadmill. So yeah, that would be Thursday. And then Friday it would be another swim, maybe a bike, and then Saturday either a swim or a bike, another strength and conditioning session, and then Sunday would be my long run.
Yeah. Wow. So really is quite cross-training led then.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And obviously your long runs, I mean, they often, go through on social media. You tend to do fairly long at quite a fast pace, which is a bit more unusual. For you, what do you think kind of makes that work for you?
I'm not really sure. I think it's just something that I've always done. And I felt like it works for me. I just feel like it kind of like replicates a race more. I, d- I do. It's not like all the one pace. Like if I run at like 340 pace per K, I normally start off a bit slower, and then it's always dead hilly as well. So like I'll have like some slower kilometers like going up hills, and then obviously like going down the hills are faster, and then I always incorporate like maybe some like faster speed work towards like the middle and the end of the run. So I do vary like the pace, and I do like different blocks of speed, which kind of changes it up. But yeah, I enjoy it, and I think it works well for me. And fingers crossed it hasn't, it's not been detrimental yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing it until maybe it doesn't work anymore, and I'll change it up again. But yeah, I find that it works.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broken, don't need to fix it. And it definitely does seem to be working for you. And also interesting kind of hearing you describe that, because it sounds very similar to the run that Ava Lloyd was talking about, that she often does kind of with the varied pace and sort of progression type nature within it. So maybe there's something quite special going on with that kind of situation there. And of course, as well, your injury that you've had. Do you want to talk us through how that came about and the kind of nature of it?
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was about 3 and a bit weeks ago that it started. I had two at the same time, and my physio and I think that it was after Antrim, just with the weather conditions being that terrible. I just maybe like overexerted myself a bit, and yeah, it was because it was a tendon. I think I had like an inflamed tendon in my shin, and then I had a bit of a tight IT band, which caused knee pain in my knee, and they both hit at like the exact same time. So I think it was just after maybe like the slippy conditions, like battling against the wind, after Antrim, and then maybe obviously like I do a recovery week afterwards. I probably just didn't recover as well as I could have done. I probably should have looked at like the weather and stuff and thought, oh no, I need like a much easier week rather than just an easy week. So I probably just did a bit too much the week afterwards. And my body just was like, no. So I got hit with like two injuries at the one time. They were really sore. I was like hobbling around my house. I was like, wow, I was like, I think that's my career over. I was like, I can't even walk. So unfortunately, I had to pull out of the Scottish 10K championships. I mean, there's no way I could run. Like, I could barely walk. I mean, like, I would come out and like dog walk sometimes with my mom and dad, and I'd be like, wait for me. Like, I can't really walk. Um, but I went to see my physio, and she was quite concerned at the start, but after I rested it and like I didn't run on it at all, I just swam. I strapped it up. I like used the loads of ibuprofen gel on it. It began to like settle down. And yeah, my knee went away quite quickly. The tendon took a while to like for the inflammation to stop and for it to stop hurting. But eventually it did. So like last Tuesday, I did my first run on the treadmill and it was still like a bit sore, but I did like 8K or something and I was like, oh, this is manageable. So I mean I was only not running for maybe like 2 and a bit weeks, 3 weeks. Which does seem like maybe it was 2 weeks, I'm not sure. But it felt like longer. But yeah, it wasn't a huge amount of time. And I just cross trained during it. But hopefully I'm on the mend now. I did another run today, and it was absolutely fine. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it stays that way. But I'm still strapping it up and like using ibuprofen and everything just in case, and ice all the time.
Yeah, can never be too careful, and it all sounds positive. And yeah, tendons are a weird one because it's kind of that fine balance of you don't actually want to rest it too much, but at the same time, you kind of don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
when I first, well, when it first got sore, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, it's a stress fracture, and I was like, that's it, I'm out for like, like 2 months. I was like, oh, it's a stress fracture because I was like googling everything, and I was like, yep, it's either a stress fracture, like, or there was some other like horrible like injury or something, and I was like, well, I'll never be able to run again. And then just like catastrophizing, and then I realized, and I obviously saw my physio, and I was like, oh wait, it's a tendon, not a bone, because I was like pressing on it and everything. I was like, is that my bone or is that my tendon? And I was like, is that the bit that's sore? And I just wasn't sure. So yeah, at least I was really lucky that it was I say just a tendon. I mean it was still agony, but at least it wasn't like a bone stress injury.
yeah, definitely. I feel like bone stress injuries are kind of the runner's phobia these days. And
Yeah. I feel
yeah,
like they're always there, like they're just always in the back of your mind. Like every time, I don't know, every time you run or anytime you injure something, you're like, I think it's a stress fracture. Like, oh, it might be a stress fracture. I feel like it's some like demon is always like in the corner or something, just lurking, like just waiting. But yeah, at least it wasn't that.
yeah, definitely. Big relief there. And it does sound like a more challenging time, especially, things are going well and then you kind of hit with something that you think could, be the end of it perhaps. And how did you cope during kind of the initial stages?
I think I just tried to tell myself that it would get better. Like I wasn't gonna be stuck like an old granny, like hobbling about forever. But I mean, it was really tough, and I've never been really injured before. Like I've had like a couple of like sore knees, and like I've had like a sore foot before or something, but it's never been like anything actually like serious. That I've had to, like see the physio about. So, yeah, it was quite tough to deal with. Especially when like my racing was going really well and like my iron levels are coming back up and I was feeling really good after doing my half marathon. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the rest of the season and everything, and then suddenly I was like, boom, two injuries. But yeah, I tried to tell myself that like my world's not gonna stop. Like I will get better, and it's not like the worst thing to ever happen, because some people are dealing with way worse things. Some people can have like a cancer diagnosis, or some people can literally not come home from work because they've had a heart attack or something. So I think it's just putting everything in perspective, and like having a sore tendon isn't really gonna end my life. So yeah, I was just kind of dealing with that.
Yeah, definitely some very wise words. Perspective and context can go a really long way sometimes in just kind of reminding yourself that the running world is great, but it's also kind of a luxury and a hobby and a passion at the same time as
Yeah.
well. And so I guess if you sort of look back on the past year, just a few reflections before we do the listener questions, what's kind of surprised yourself the most?
Um, I think it's just dealing with um like quite tough times, because I never really experienced that. Like last year, I felt like everything was great, and I like every race was like PB, whatever. But I think it's just learning to deal with not every race will be a PB, and you will have bad races, you have races that you think, wow, what was that? Or you don't feel well, or like the conditions are awful. And I think it's just coming to terms with not every race is going to be perfect and go the way you want it to. And it's just kind of like how to like bounce back from that and focus on the next one and know that it's not like, you know, the end of your career or something if you have like a one bad race or something, or like you've got loads of time in the sport and it's silly to just get caught up in, you know, just normal kind of like races throughout the year. So I think that was a big one.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's such an important one. And yeah, I guess in your case, when you're a bit newer to the sport or haven't been doing it as long, you kind of get that honeymoon phase and then it sort of starts to curve off and you're hit with a bit of a, I guess, reality check and, things can take a bit longer to move forwards. And for you, was there any sort of light bulb moment that triggered you to kind of have that realization?
Not really. I think it just happened like gradually, just throughout the year, just slowly. It's just like different races and everything. You just learn a wee bit more, and you kind of just it's just something like you realize as it happens to you more often. But yeah, it's definitely been throughout the year something that I've definitely learned.
Yeah, definitely. And, a couple of also female specific questions for you. What's your go-to period product for races and training? And also, do you notice any changes in how you feel and how you perform across your cycle?
I think my go-to product would be ibuprofen and paracetamol and a hot water bottle.
I
Um,
love that.
so yeah, definitely you can't go wrong with them. And I think before, definitely like the week before, I don't know if anybody else experiences it, but it just feels like there's like a huge like black cloud over you. Like it's like you just feel sad, you're or like angry or like depressed or something. You're like, oh, you just feel like kind of like crap. You don't really feel like doing anything. And I've normally found that I don't really, maybe if I've got like a session planned, or like I've got like a tempo, something that's, you know, faster based, I just think I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to either do something easier or just do something completely different if I'm not feeling it, because there's no point doing it if you're going to hate it and not feel good. So always like the week before, I pencil in on my like training calendar, like you're going to feel crap this week. So maybe change what kind of session you do.
Yeah, no, the week before is not the one. I think, yeah, I don't think anyone's ever said anything else actually. So, regardless of what the studies say, the conclusive evidence does seem it is the week before. But that's such a great idea there with kind of penciling it in just to sort of remind yourself this is going to be the week, give myself a bit more slack, take some kind of the load off if necessary. So that's a really great way of kind of approaching things there. And so, if we move on to some listener questions, first of all, we've got one on protein powder recommendations. I mean, I know you're not a nutritionally qualified person, but still.
I would recommend the My Protein soy isolate. I've tried the salted caramels, really good. The chocolate ones, really good as well. I put them in my overnight oats. I think the vegan protein blend is good as well. Like mixes into oats and like shakes really well. Um, I'm lactose intolerant, but like I don't really care because I still have like Greek yogurt and everything, and I still have cheese and everything. So I mean, I just buy the like the vegan protein just because I feel like it does sit in my stomach a bit better. So I'm not really sure what the whey protein is like, but I think it would be good as well. But definitely, I think the soy one is the best one.
Okay, soy protein it is, guys. And then how do you stay on top of sufficient fueling?
I think it's just making sure that like you're eating before and after your runs. Making sure that you've got like on your plate the balance of everything. So you've got like protein, carbs, fats, in every meal. And just like eating when you're hungry as well. And just always making sure you've got snacks. You know, if you're on the go, if you're busy, like you can have things like oat bars or hard-boiled eggs, or yeah, just nutritious snacks on hand all the time, and making sure that you are eating enough at every meal to support your training load.
Yeah, definitely. Regular eating as well. That's a very good one there. And also we've got future goals.
I think a big one would be the 2026 Commonwealth Games now that they're coming to Glasgow.
Oh
I think I
wow.
really want to be at the Commonwealth Games. And yeah, maybe 2025, there might be like a European road running championship, which would be really cool to qualify for, but I'm not really sure 100%. Maybe there's a chance I could. But yeah, I think that will be 2026 goals definitely would be the Commonwealth, and then next year I think there's maybe the World Athletics like road running championships as well towards the end of next year, which would be amazing to qualify. So yeah, I'll see what happens, and fingers crossed um I get there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no reason why you can't. And yeah, I guess Glasgow would be amazing as well at being kind of Scotland. So yeah, that one would be super cool. And we've also got tips for younger athletes.
I think probably not doing too much too soon. Like I've seen it like a lot of people like they're really overtrained. I saw in swimming as well that you'd be like 12, maybe like smashing all these like records and times and everything, but it's just because they were just completely overtrained, and then they maybe get to like 15, 16, and then they just plateau because it was just because of they were overtrained. So I think just like gradually like building mileage and volume and stuff just over a long time, and not trying to do it like when you're too young, and probably just not copy what other people are doing as well. Not thinking that you have to run like 50 miles a week just because somebody else does, or I think it's just yeah, knowing what's best for you, and doing what you feel is right for your training, instead of just like following a plan, or just because somebody is telling you to do something. Maybe if you really don't like it, like say, and try to switch up or do something different.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, communication's definitely a key point as well, especially sort of when you're being coached more formally. It is important to sort of flag up things where they don't sit well. And we've also got one tips for dealing with injury. I don't know if you want to give maybe three of your things that you might have done differently or that you're glad you did.
Resting, even though it's frustrating, like, or you really want to go out for that run or that like 3 mile, like, just to see how it is run, like you just like, no, just don't do it. You'll just set yourself back. And yeah, just taking each day as it comes, and um, try not to. I know it's so hard when you are injured, but just try not to focus on it. Maybe try other things or do stuff to take your mind off it. And yeah, just yeah, it's not great. I mean, I've only dealt with like one injury, so I'm not the best at advice, but that's what I felt worked for me. So
Well, it might only have been one, but I think that those are two pieces of brilliant advice. Definitely, especially with that kind of run you saying there, the just see how it is run it. That is a definite no.
yeah,
Definitely a
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Okay, and we've got how do you balance your uni degree and everyday training, which you've kind of covered, but I don't know if you want to maybe in a sentence kind of maybe sum things up a bit.
It's really hard. Sometimes, you'll not balance it, and sometimes you might have to miss a session, or you might have to miss a bit of like uni. Like you can't balance them both perfectly, but you can do it. And like I did it last year, and hopefully I'm doing it okay just now. And yeah, just time management. So just really managing your time well, and just I don't know, taking really good notes and making sure you're on top of all your work.
Yeah, definitely. Great advice again. And I think you make a great point about sort of perfection, not necessarily having to be there or being the thing to strive for things to still work out. And finally, we've got, was it hard to switch to a new coach?
Not really, no, because I didn't really have one before. So, yeah, it wasn't like I had this change from like one person to another. And I suppose because it's not really been like I don't have like a set plan like as of right now, just with like being off and stuff. I don't really know what that will be like, but as of right now, it's worked really well. It's been so good having somebody there and giving me advice and everything. So yeah, it's been quite smooth, like the transition. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear.
Fab.
Okay, and so wrap up a question and then a few quick fires. Firstly, what motivates you to run and what motivates you to compete?
I think what motivates me to run would probably just be like I just really enjoy it. Like I just love running, like regardless of time, pace, anything. I love being outside, and I just like being active and just really like the feeling that it gives me. So yeah, that's why I like to run, and then I like to compete because I am the most competitive person you will ever meet. I just absolutely love it. Like I love beating people. It's great. So yeah, I will still be doing the park run when I'm 90, trying to beat everybody, even though I will not be anywhere close to the front. But yeah, that's I'm just really competitive.
No, absolutely. And so you should be. We look forward to seeing that V90 world record come through.
Absolutely.
What's the most kind of funny thing that you get competitive over?
Um, literally anything. Like even if I'm at like Aldi and they're like throwing my shopping down like they're scanning it really quickly. I'm like, I'm gonna pack this as fast as you're throwing this down. So it becomes a competition of how fast they can throw my shopping and then how fast I can like pack it in my bag. So yeah, literally like that. Or if I'm walking on the street and somebody's walking next to me, it's like, oh no, I have to walk faster than you. And then like I have like a wee race if somebody's like where I'm going. It's yeah, it's quite funny, but I wouldn't change it that way for any other way.
No, that's great to hear. And yeah, no, I mean, if you're packing at Audi speeds, then you're doing well because they do chuck that stuff down the conveyor belt. That is for sure. Okay, top three pre-race musts.
Um, Probably well a warm up. A warm up. I always have a peanut butter and jam sandwich. Because I that's just what I do every single race, no matter what race, peanut butter and jam sandwich. And I'm trying to think of a probably like a keep calm one, maybe
Mm.
like visualization, like get in the zone. That's probably more than three, but that's what I do.
No, no, I think we'll take those ones. They're all great. Okay, go to holiday destination.
Does it have to be a place I've been before?
No.
Oh, it would definitely be like south of Italy. That yeah, 100%. Anywhere warm, actually.
Oh well, you can always jump in an oven or something. No, don't do that. Morning or evening person?
Morning, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, athlete who's inspired you the most recently?
Um, Probably Eilish McColgan. Just seeing her come back from her injury, after being told that she couldn't run again, and then she's back and like absolutely smashing it again. Doing all these road races. I think that's just so encouraging to see. And yeah, it's very, very inspirational. So I definitely say Eilish McColgan.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always great to see people kind of defying the odds, for sure. And what sport or hobby would you do if you didn't run?
Um, Probably well, if
Or
I
swim or cycle?
count cycling or swimming, I'm
Yeah.
going to discount that because I kind of do that anyways. I think I really like hockey. I remember really liking hockey at school because it's really competitive as well. So I feel like I'd be good at that. And I really like badminton as well. So I don't know, maybe those sports. I
Yeah,
know you
brilliant.
might see me in a couple of years. I just turn into like a hockey player or something, even though I've literally never done it really in my life. Just seems really good fun. So yeah, I'd say those two.
Oh, the reverse Kate Axford. I mean, it worked for her one way. I'm sure it can work for you the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, planned or spontaneous?
Planned. I'm really not a spontaneous person at all. Like if we're doing something like I have to know like a week in advance just to prepare myself for. Like I'm not spontaneous.
Now it seems that everyone's going planned, so clearly correlation between being planned and being successful at running. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you so much for coming back on. It's been great catching up with you. And yeah, hopefully you'll have a brilliant year ahead and come back nice and smoothly from your injury.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for having me on as well.
No, absolute pleasure. Great catching up with you. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. This really helps to get the content out there. And I want to make this podcast the best possible for you. So go follow Fitter, Faster, Happier on Instagram. That's Fitter, Faster, Happier to leave your questions, comments, and feedback, and for updates and guest requests. All the best for the week ahead, guys. Run happy, live happy, be happy.